Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Shri Shri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhakta Prahlad Maharaj ki jai. Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yajna ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution ki jai. Vrindavan Madhura Dham ki jai. Navadip Mayapur Dham ki jai. Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Vrindade Tulasi Maharani ki jai. Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Putale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Ruttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Today we are discussing the first verse of the song of Lord Shiva from fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 24, verse number 23. Am I right? Yeah, 33. 33. Sri Rudra Uvacha Chitam ta Atma Varya Jitam Tatma Vidvarya Swastaye Swastir Astume Swastaye Swastir Astume Bhavataradhasaradham Bhavataradhasaradham Sarvasma Atmane Namaha Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. Sri Rudra Uvacha Jitam Tatma Vidvarya Swastaye Swastirastu Me Bhavataradhasaradham Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. Sri Rudra Uvacha Jitam ta Atma Vidvarya Swastaye Swastirastu Me Bhavataradhasaradham Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. Sri Rudra Uvacha Jitam Dvatma Vidvarya Swastaye Swastirastu Me Bhavata Radhasaradham Sarvasma Atmane Namaha. Viva? Okay. Sri Rudra Uvacha. Lord Shiva began to speak. Chitam, all glories, te unto you, Atmavit, self-realized, Varya, the best, Swastaye, unto the auspicious, Swastihi, auspiciousness, Astu, let there be, may, of me, Bhavata, by you, Aradhasa, by the all-perfect, Radham, worshipable, Sarvasmai, the Supreme Soul, Atmane, unto the Supreme Soul, Namaha, obeisances. Translation. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all-perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul, therefore I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. Please repeat after me. Lord Shiva addressed the Supreme Personality of Godhead with the following prayer. O Supreme Personality of Godhead, all glories unto you. You are the most exalted of all self-realized souls. Since you are always auspicious for the self-realized, I wish that you be auspicious for me. You are worshipable by virtue of the all-perfect instructions you give. You are the super soul, therefore I offer my obeisances unto you as the supreme living being. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Purport is a very, a bit long purport. We will cover what Srila Prabhupada mentioned, expressed, and certain other things related to this verse. The context here is there was a king called Prachinabarhi and whose sons are called Prachetas. The Prachetas were given a service. What is the service? Service is begetting children. Now one may wonder, what is there in that as a service to do? But there is a lot. There is a lot of deep science in begetting children. The root of that science is how to get are wonderful children who are submissive to Lord Krishna. This is the root of that science. The children are replica of parents' mind, meaning whatever the mentality that the parents carry, the children or the souls who have a similar mind will be attracted to those parents and then take birth. After taking birth, again they will use their individual choice and then they may change their mannerisms, mentality. It's possible, but who will be attracted? The same mentality of the parents. So that is why it is a science. It means if we change our mentality to a very, very positive attitude, then the same kind of children will be born. So that's a science. So now the Prachetas were given that service and they wanted to change their attitude from negatives to positive so that the people who take birth from them, they will do something positive. So then they were going to take some austerities. Austerities means taking Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan ki jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki jai. Srila Prabhupada mentions what austerity means. Austerity means taking willingly, voluntarily, a little bit difficult circumstances. That's what austerity. Austerity doesn't mean to go somewhere else, sit in an idle place or a lonely place, a lonely place and then thinking something else. That may not be austerity. Austerity is taking a voluntary step or a difficulty to serve the Supreme Lord or to worship the Supreme Lord or to come close to Supreme Lord, whichever way that closeness will happen. Now earlier, in those yugas, the atmosphere, the circumstances is a very, very peaceful, polite, conducive, very, very much available, all the resources. So the austerity for that age was to move away from the comfortable zone. That's austerity. So the Prachetas were going to go away from comforts a little bit and then see how the life will be. So that's the austerity they are wanted to. So that's a tapascharya or tapa. So when they were going, very surprisingly, unexpectedly, Lord Shiva appeared on his own. It is mentioned actually on his own, if I am right, pure. Yeah, out of his causeless mercy, that the previous verse. Out of Lord Shiva's causeless mercy, he, a great devotee of Lord Narayana, continued to speak. No, somewhere else in the verse. Anyway, I think he appeared, as far as I remember, he appeared on his own will. Prachetas did not desire that. So in other words, sometimes people will ask, because I desire, where I desire that devotion, I am acquainted with devotion. Where I desired. I didn't desire this, but all of a sudden it came to me. Sometimes people say that. But that's not correct. We are actually desiring devotion unknowingly. How? Okay, what devotion is all about? Rupa Goswami says in Nectar of Devotion, devotion is all happy and auspicious process, right? Are we all desiring happiness or not? We are all desiring happiness. In other words, indirectly we are desiring devotion only. We are not desiring anything else. I mean, indirectly, not directly, indirectly. So, for some souls, Lord Krishna blesses. Those souls who turn towards devotee, Lord Krishna will bless. Devotion. That's a combination. That's a combination. So, seeing the eagerness that the Prachetas were about to do, so Lord Shiva appeared. Usually, Lord Shiva will not give spiritual benedictions. Lord Shiva will give only material benedictions. But very rarely or occasionally, Lord Shiva gives us spiritual benedictions. And one of the benediction is this song of Lord Shiva. Sometimes people ask, okay, it's always a question arises from a competitive mentality. That question is Lord Shiva great or Lord Vishnu great? This is actually a mode of ignorant question. A mode of ignorant question. Who is better? So, and they quote a very famous example that Lord Krishna worshipped Shiva and Lord Rama worshipped Shiva, so Shiva is great. So this is a very poor example because there is no incident that Lord Vishnu or Krishna could not protect himself. There was no incident like that. In other words, that shows the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Right? When we say God, and God must be supreme. Yes or no? God must be supreme, right? If God is the supreme, he should be able to protect himself. If he is not able to protect himself from the circumstances, it means the circumstances are greater than him, or the circumstances are beyond his control. Then that defies the definition itself. So it means whoever cannot protect themselves from the circumstances, they cannot be the ultimate supreme God. So this is a very simple way of understanding. And Lord Shiva was not able to protect himself in many, many ways, many, many incidents. You know the famous incident, that Bhasmasura incident, right? The Bhasmasura was given a benediction by Lord Shiva. And it's a very terrible benediction. Bhasmasura asked, on whomever head I put my hand, they should die immediately. They should turn to ashes immediately. What a terrible envy. It means he is meditating on destroying others. Otherwise, why he got that benediction? He is meditating to destroy others. And remember, when we try to cause harm to others, or disturbance to others, or damage to others, or pain to others, or disturbing their lives, it will backfire. Definitely. Definitely it will backfire. But Lord Shiva did not say anything. He simply gave that which problematic for Bhasmasura, Lord Shiva silently gave it. Silently gave it. And Bhasmasura, was trapped. He was made to put his hand on his own head. And then he has died. But in between, what happened? The Bhasmasura immediately tried to kill Lord Shiva by putting his hand. By putting his hand on Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva couldn't. No, he couldn't say, yeah, come on, put or don't put. Because his words are ultimate. Lord Shiva's words are ultimate. How? Because Lord Krishna he makes Lord Shiva's words ultimate. Because Lord Krishna is the ultimate authority of all authorities. Ultimate authorities of all authorities. So Lord Shiva then was running, what to do to save his life. And then Vishnu came in the form of Mohini, and immediately Bhasmasura was attracted to woman. This is the nature of demoniac people. So he was attracted by Mohini, and Mohini, mesmerized Bhasmasura. And then Bhasmasura was, he put his hand on his head. So that is Lord Shiva. Now, another aspect of Lord Shiva, we see, before understanding anybody's words or anybody's teachings, we should understand the personality. It's very, very important. What kind of the personality he is. The teacher is. So here Lord Shiva was offering a very, very pure prayers. Not only he was offering, he was offering to us to and giving a facility for us to purify our hearts. To purify our hearts. He was giving that facility. So then what Lord Shiva is, we should be very, very carefully understand his role. His role, another way of understanding his role was, imagine a rich person was very, very rich, and whatever the father is, whatever the child wants, the father is giving. But the child, out of false ego or ahankar, he says that, no, I can withstand on my own legs. I can earn my own way. I can earn my reputation. I don't need you. My father's reputation, I don't need. I need my own reputation, my own money, my own everything. And then the rich father says, no, see, it's very difficult. You cannot live very happily with this mentality. Please don't go away. But the people will go away. And then what father will do, a loving father? He will tie him up and then lock him and then put him. Will he do that? No, he will not do that. He will lovingly allows the son after so much warning and so much loving correction, and then he will leave the child. Okay, then you do whatever you want. But he will never give up his well-wishing nature. The father will never give up his well-wishing nature. That's what Lord Krishna is. He loves us, but he will never give up his well-wishing nature towards us. He always wishes well. He always wishes auspiciousness in our life. And the same mood the devotees also will carry. So Lord Shiva also will carry that mood. But if anyone acts on a false ego platform like Bhasmasura, then Lord Shiva temporarily suspends his auspicious nature. Temporarily he suspends. Because the recipient is unable to understand it. Even if Lord Shiva says to Bhasmasura, no, this is not good for you, they will not listen. Just like the child. Rich father, when he says, this is not good for you, then the child was so adamant to listen. So then, what he'll do, like Srila Prabhupada said, Srila Prabhupada, he did very wonderful way. He dealt his son. One time, his son was very adamant to put finger in table fan. Because he doesn't know what the consequences of it. He's so adamant to put his finger into table fan. And Prabhupada warned, but his son did not listen. Multiple times, happened. But then what Prabhupada did, okay, all right, just wait a moment. You can put your finger into the fan. And then he switched off the fan. And after the fan slows down a bit, so, such that even if the child puts a finger, the fan will not hurt the finger. After coming to that speed, then he said to his child, okay, now you put the finger. And then he put the finger, and then, he withdrew it immediately. What a loving nature. What a loving nature. So, it means, that's called teaching. That's called teaching. The teaching should be simultaneously loving, and at the same time, it should have the lessons for us. It should have lessons for us. Those are called teachings. If just only simply loving and loving and loving, we will take advantage of that love. But if we simply correcting, we become so rebellious. So both must be there, and that's what Srila Prabhupada, and that's what even Lord Shiva also. So Lord Shiva, so Krishna, just like a rich person, as a well-wishing person, what he will do, he will appoint someone to take care of the child, because the child is not accepting him, the father. So, similarly, Lord Krishna appoints the rebel souls. For the rebel souls, he appoints Lord Shiva. So Lord Shiva takes charge of the rebels. So that is why usually, although he will not give the corrective measures, but those who are willing to give up their rebellious nature, a little bit, Lord Shiva immediately pays attention, and he changes his mood and tries to give the Krishna consciousness. And that's the aspect of Lord Shiva through which the Rudra Sampradaya will come. Rudra Sampradaya is actually Vaishnava Sampradaya, originated, the first person Rudra, the second person was Rudra. First person is always Lord Krishna, and second person was Rudra. Now, coming to these prayers. So when Prachetas were going with the mood of serving Krishna, then Lord Shiva became very happy, and he felt that somehow let me help these people. And these are the prayers of that. And the very first one, Lord Shiva, in the first verse, he said, all glories, right? 33, yeah. All glories unto you. Unto whom? The Supreme Lord. So what does that mean? Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ki. We say that, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? Jai means glories, all glories. It has a very deep meaning. It has many deep understandings. A little bit understanding is, when we say all glories unto you, it implies that I am not desiring any glories. It implies that. And if someone offers obeisance, it means if someone offers obeisances to us, because Vaishnava attire is a very attractive and purifying, right? Even Vaishnava attire. What to speak of the real Vaishnava in mind, in intelligence, in heart? What to speak of receiving respect? So when someone respects and offers obeisances, then those obeisances should go to Lord Krishna. That should be the mood. That should be the mood. It means all glories should be channelized to Lord Krishna. No, nothing, to keep for us. That's what it means, all glories. So all the prayers are here. Lord Shiva is encouraging us how to pray the Lord. So all glories unto you. Now, and then to enter into that mood, okay, nothing for me, everything is for Lord Krishna. Now to enter into that mood, all these prayers. Now these prayers can be categorized into different sections. Now the one part of the prayers, or the one part of sections of these prayers is the understanding related to the Lord, the Supreme Lord's role, Lord Krishna's role related to the creation. Related to the creation. So there's a one section. And then about the how we will be attracted to that Creator, the Supreme Lord, how beautiful He is. See, there must be, Krishna will always leave some attraction in our hearts towards Him. He will always leave some attraction. It's just we have to see in that direction. That's it. There are many, many devotees told me way back, like 20 years ago, 18 years ago, when they came first to this temple, they were simply attracted to the beauty of Radha Madan Mohan, and then they continued to come. Simply. Sometimes the people say, is the atmosphere, the serenity here, it made my mind peaceful. So they are attracted. And some people will be attracted to the philosophy. Some people will be attracted to, different aspects of Lord Krishna. Now, of all aspects, the topmost aspect or the topmost attraction we should reach is the loving nature of Krishna. Beauty is fine. Everything is fine. Or His power is fine. Or His intelligence is fine. Krishna is very clever. He's very, very clever. Very, very clever. So by intelligence one will be attracted to Krishna. But of all the attractions, if anyone is attracted by the loving nature of Krishna, that's a top class. Now if anyone is attracted by any other nature, then they will come slowly to the loving nature of Krishna. So these prayers will move the obstacles. If anyone is attracted by anything other than the loving nature of God, so those obstacles will be removed by these prayers. So that is why these prayers are very, very pure. Very, very pure. And after the end of these prayers, after end of these prayers, Lord Shiva says that if anyone chants these prayers early morning, I remember early morning, but anyway, any time is fine. They will give up one very, very important obstacle in their life, by that obstacle, their devotional path will become troublesome. That obstacle is fruitive mentality. It means fruitive mentality. It means while doing devotion, like all glories to, while saying all glories to, then the fruitive mentality says, hey, come on, some glory should be to you also. To the pronouncer of all glories to the Lord. That's called fruitive mentality. So that fruitive mentality, expectation, that will be removed by these prayers. Will be removed very much. Now, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, these prayers, and Lord Shiva actually saying that all auspicious, right? Yes, I wish that you be auspicious for me. That's what Lord Shiva said. So then what is that auspiciousness? The auspiciousness is to become free from this fruitive mentality. That is very, very, very big auspiciousness in our life. because the fruitive mentality will disturb our life in many, many ways. Many, many ways. Many, many ways. Um, many ways. Like, for example, the competitive mentality in the world is because of fruitive mentality. Because of that competitive mentality, they compete with each other. And then they try to, if someone else, if they are socially well settled or earn a lot of money or, so much fame, if they become so much famous and, XYZ, then immediately the fruitive mentality says that, hey, how about getting those things for myself also? Not knowing that those things will bring a lot of trouble for me. Thus ignorance, lot of trouble. Suppose if you desire like a famous person, like any politician, if you desire that, if you become famous like that, do you know how the lifestyle will be? Lifestyle will be very, very troublesome. People will always try to kill the famous person. People will always try to criticize the famous person. Whichever way they are famous, either money-wise or social position-wise, they will always try to kill, try to unsettle that person. And if anyone reaches that position, to protect that position is a very, very, very big headache. Very big headache. Our peace will go away, and then the mental struggle will become more. It's a very, very troublesome situation. Very troublesome situation. And then, another example, fruitive mentality is, okay, everyone are getting a very beautiful wife, so my would-be wife should also be more beautiful than. And then guess what will happen? Guess what will happen? I don't have to say anything after that. You have to try to protect the girl like anything. Like anything. This is very troublesome. Very troublesome. In fact, Srila Prabhupada wrote in first canto of Bhagavatam, and in some purport, when Pandavas wanted to win Draupadi, and then their trouble began from that point of time. I mean, before also troubles were there, but from that point of time, their troubles increased. Their troubles increased. Right? All the Mahabharata centered around Draupadi. Centered around Draupadi. But devotees they are, the Pandavas are, so Lord Krishna protected them. They never desired anything for selfish motives. Pandavas never desired anything for selfish motives. But, the incident is a lesson for us. A lesson for us. Unknowingly or ignorantly, if we enter into situations, those situations will bring inauspiciousness in our life, then our devotional path will become troublesome. Very troublesome. So the auspiciousness is definitely to become free from fruitive mentality. Auspiciousness. And then we are discussing the parts of the prayers, right? So, the first section we discussed, right? That is about the prayer, how powerful the Lord is. How powerful the Lord is. What is the Lord will do in relation to this creation. Then what will happen when we understand about the creation? This fruitive mentality will become loose. It becomes very, very loose in our heart. Still, some attachment to fruitive mentality will exist, but it will be slackened. It becomes very loose. Very loose. And second one is the beauty, the lost beauty. We discuss another section. And another section is, Lord Shiva advises us how the devotional process becomes very easy when we are connected to or when we are associated with the personality who is presenting these teachings purely. This is very important, very, very important. In fact, there is a caution in scriptures. There is a caution in scriptures that if we hear the Harikatha from the people who have ulterior motives or expect anyone in return or anything in return, then that person, we should not hear from that person. That return can be anything, like either money. Like if speaker desires money, sorry, we should not hear from that person. If speaker desires followers, sorry, we should not hear from that person. Because Avaishnava, who is an Avaishnava? Avaishnava Mukodgirnam Putam Harikathamrutam. So what that verse is saying, we should not hear from Avaishnava, means one who is not a Vaishnava. We should not hear from him. If we hear from him, it acts as a poison. Why? Then who is an Avaishnava? An Avaishnava is, same. When he says all glories to Krishna, all glories to Lord Krishna, but some glories to me, then that person is not Vaishnava. So, when a speaker desires money, then he cannot present Krishna as he is. He will always try to present Krishna in a way that people will be inspired to give money. You understand the difference? Similarly, if anyone wants followers, then he will mispresent Krishna, or he may sideline Krishna in presentation. And then, why he silenced? Because he wanted followers. So that which is admired by followers, then he will present that. So Krishna is sidelined. So hearing from pure personalities is a very, very important. And Lord Shiva is encouraging us to be with such kind of pure personalities. That's the part of the section. So these three sections are there in these prayers. And by keeping these things in mind, if you read these prayers will have a tremendous heart transforming effect in our heart. Tremendous, tremendous. And Srila Prabhupada's purpose are very, very connecting to the translations and to our hearts. Very, very connecting these purpose. So with this mood, if you read, but these are lengthy prayers also. These are lengthy prayers, roughly something like 30 verses, around 30 verses, these prayers. Now, with this I will end. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that if anyone does any activity, and if he knows the purpose of activity and then do it, okay, and then even try to do it, he will get the benefit. Even if he doesn't do the activity, he will get the benefit. Shall I repeat that? What Krishna said? Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, if anyone wanted to do an activity, and even before doing that activity, if the performer knows the purpose of the activity or the ultimate outcome of the activity, and then if he begins to do that activity, he will do the right result or the result. He will get the result. That can be applied to the hearing process, the process of hearing. The process of hearing is, the goal of process of hearing is, we can say our heart to become pure, but what is that? To give up the negatives. That's the purity, beginning of the purity, to give up negatives. So we should be able to understand from hearing process how our fruitive mentality is going away, how our pride is going away, how our envy is going away, and how our competitive mentality is going away, and many things. How our mental tensions are going away, many things. So this is a criteria. This is a criteria. Any hearing process, or in that, on that platform, then that's the right platform, and Srimad Bhagavatam recommends that hearing. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Any comments or questions? Okay. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.